All right, today we're going to be talking about our multiplying polynomials. So there's different ways that we can multiply polynomials depending on how it's set up and what you're looking for. So the first part is just distributing. So if you're going to take a monomial times a polynomial. So you've done this before where you take whatever's outside the parentheses and you multiply it by whatever's inside. Remember, you're multiplying. And then you take whatever's outside times whatever's inside. And remember, since there's a plus sign here, you need to have the plus sign in the middle. Just make sure you watch out for those negatives. Now here, I tried to color coordinate, but we're taking the whole term. Since all of this is multiplied, we're taking the whole term times the first term. And that gives you 2x. Now remember, when you're multiplying the same base, you add the exponents, which gives you 6. All right, and then now we're going to take this times the second term. So 2 times 3 is 6, and then x to the third and x to the second power is x to the fifth power. Now we're going to take this to the third term. So remember, we've got 2 times negative 2, which gives you negative 4. And then x to the third, remember this is 1 here, x to the first will give you x to the fourth. And then lastly, we're going to take this term to the last term. So 2 times 5 is 10. And then x to the third, well, since we don't have any other x's, we just keep it as x to the third. And we don't have to combine any like terms, so this is as simplified as you can get. All right, now this one, watch out, again, you do have negatives in here, but we're still going to take this and multiply it to each term inside. Now remember, this is y to the first power when you're multiplying, so we're going to take this times negative, think of it as like negative 1. So you got 4 times negative 1, which is negative 4, and then y to the first and y to the third give you y to the fourth. Take this times this. So 4 times negative 2 gives you negative 8. And then y to the first and y to the first give you y squared. And then take this term times negative 1. So 4 times negative 1 gives you 4, or negative 4, excuse me. And then since we don't have any other y's here, we just write y. And then we can't combine any, there aren't any like terms. So that's as low as you can go. All right. I want you to go ahead and try this one. Now be careful, you do have a negative here. So just watch your signs when you're multiplying, but you're going to go here, 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 and here. All right, so another way is horizontal multiplication. So it's just basically going through, I just always say I'm just distributing. But just make sure when you're doing this, you take this term times each term in the second parenthesis. So here to here, so 2x squared times 4x is 8x to the third. Then I go here to here, which is 2x squared times negative 3, which gives you negative 6x squared. Now that I've done those, now I can go to this middle term and do that to each one inside here. So to go from here to here is 20x squared, because remember you do have at least x's there, so 2. And then now, since I did this term, now I need to go to this term, which would be negative 15x. Last but not least, we have to do this one to each term. And remember, it's a negative 1, so watch your negatives. So we're going to go negative 1 times 4x, and then negative 1 times negative 3, and remember, 2 negatives make a positive. So now let's go ahead and let's combine any like terms. So I don't have any other x to the thirds. So I do have 2x squareds, which would give you 14x squared. I have 2 x's, which gives you negative 19x, and I don't have any other 3, so I can bring that down. So it's not too bad. You're just multiplying each term and going from there. All right. Oops, I forgot my orange arrow here. All right. So what we're going to do is take this term times each thing in there. So I'd take 3n squared times negative 2n, which gives you negative 6n to the third. 3 times 1, or 3n squared times 1 is 3n squared. Now we're going to do the same thing here. 4n times negative 2, which gives you 8. And then n times n is n squared. And then here, I forgot to do my orange. There it goes. So 4n times positive n, which gives you that. And then combine any like terms, so those are like terms. And then that's as simplified and it's written in standard form. All right. So now this one, you'll hear people say this. They'll say when you're doing multiplying polynomials to FOIL it. And FOIL stands for first, outer or outside, inner or inside, and last. So those are the terms you're going to do. So what you're going to think about is you're going to multiply your two first terms in the parentheses. So 2x times 4x, which gives you 8x squared. Then you're going to go for your outside terms. So that's this one and this one. So those are the outside parts of the parentheses, or the outer parts. So 2x times 1, which gives you 2x. Now we're going to do the inner part, which are the two that are inside together, or closest together. So 3 times 4x. And then now you do your last term. So last term to last term, which is 3. And then again, combine any like terms. There you go. So like I said, you'll hear people say FOIL. I just say just distribute it, because that's basically what you're doing. It's just a little trick to remember how to multiply. But again, first, outer, inner, remember it's a -4, so watch your signs, and last. Combine any like terms, and then write in standard form, and voila. All right, so I did some examples there, so I want you to go through, and I want you to do all of these. Again, watch this negative, and then combine from there. All right, now sometimes it's not going to be written like how it was before. It's called a square of a binomial. So when you square it, that means you take it to the second power. So you cannot do a squared, plus b squared. Those are not the same, because you have this plus sign. So it's not a power to a power. All right, but what you can do is this is your base, and you're going to write it 2 times. Now that you've written it 2 times, now you can go ahead and distribute. Outer, inner, last, and then combine any like terms, and then that's it. So the trick here is just writing your base twice. So you're going to write that twice, so it should be 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3, and then go ahead and multiply and distribute it out. All right, so now for this next one, you have an area of a square. So remember, for square, all sides are congruent, and the side length is equal to 3x plus 4. So this is 3x plus 4, this is 3x plus 4, all the sides are 3x plus 4, but we only need length and width. So area is length times width. So what we're going to do is take this times this. And now go ahead, distribute, or FOIL, whichever you prefer. So we're going to go first, outer, inner, and last. So basically you're just making sure you're multiplying all the terms together. And then combine like terms. And then there you go. That's the area. All right, so now we just did, these are plus signs. Now we're going to have difference of squares in here. So if you notice, this is a plus and this is a minus. So this is the difference of squares. So what we're going to do is same thing we've done before, is we're going to do first, outer, enter, and remember that's a -5. And then last, and again, that's a -5. And now we're going to combine our terms. Oh wait, positive 5x and negative 5x, those cancel out. That gives you 0. So what you're left with is x squared minus 25. So that's your difference of squares. So go ahead, I want you to try that, and we're going to definitely be talking about those later. All right, now this one, again, looks a little wild and crazy. It's an application. So we want to know the expression that represents the area of the trapezoid, and it did give you the formula for the area. So it's half times height times base 1 plus base 2. So here's your base 1, here's your base 2, here's your height. So 1/2, we said our height was x, and then we said base 1. This is base 2, and we're adding those together. And remember, it's 1/2 times all of that. And then now, let's combine our like terms. Now that we got that, now we can take 1/2 x and distribute. So half of 4 is 2, and x times x is x squared. And then half of 10 is 5. Then there is no other x's, so that's it. So that's your answer, is 2x squared plus 5x. All right, so for this one, I drew a picture for you, but square has an unknown side length of x. A rectangle has a side length that is 4 feet longer. So it's x, here's your side length, 4 feet longer than the square, and a width that is 2 feet shorter than the square. Find the areas of both the square and the rectangle. So, and then find the difference of the rectangle minus the square. So the area of the square is length times width, so it's x times x, which equals x squared. And the rectangle is length times width, so it's x minus 2 times x plus 4. And here, do x squared, 4x, minus 2x, minus 8. And now combine like terms. So this would be for the rectangle, and this would be for the square. So now what we have to do is we have to find the difference of the rectangle minus the square. So rectangle minus square. So rectangle's here, square is here, and we're subtracting. So remember, this is really, when you multiply, it's a -1 times x, which gives you negative x squared. So that's going to cancel out from there, and I'm just left with 2x minus 8, and that's your answer. All right, oops. And then that is multiplying polynomials.